Hello, everybody. How's it going? This is your host, the Wizard 411, here with the TNA recap for today. So, our show starts off with Bully Ray cutting a promo from a car. It appears he was driving with the cameraman. The cameraman tends to get a huge segment in the show for some strange reason. They should, make him his own character, a wrestler or something. Who knows? But anyway, so a short promo, kind of a throwaway, didn't really mean anything. He was just kind of going after Dixie Carter, which has kind of been his gimmick for the last couple of weeks. After that, we get a video package with Eric Young showing off his victories and showing how he's pretty much climbed to the top of the ladder, and as he's defeated all his opponents up until this point, which has been pretty awesome. After that, Eric Young comes out to the ring, and it follows by Bobby Roode making an entrance. Bobby Roode had an amazing fight with Eric Young last week, and he actually wanted to give us a part two of the fight. And Eric Young was reluctant at first because Bobby Roode already had his opportunity, and he's a fighting champion. He actually wants to defend his title against different people, and since Bobby Roode lost, he seemed kind of reluctant, like I said, about giving him an opportunity. But Eric Young, being the fighting champion that he is, after Bobby Roode brought back their 17 plus years worth of history, regarding the fact that they were in Team Canada together, how they came from the Indies and grew and rose to the heights that they are now in TNA. Eric Young agreed to give him another opportunity. With that, we closed that part of the show. After that, after the commercial break, we have a backstage segment with MVP and Eric Young, and MVP's pretty much telling Eric that he can't just go around making his own matches, and that he's gonna have a match for him at Slammiversary. He's gonna have a mystery opponent that he's never faced before, and from that point on, they kind of just leave it at that. So to get to the actual matches, since this show is like so much story. That's one thing I got to say about TNA that's not necessarily a good thing. They had to kind of cut down on their story just a tad. You know what I mean? Like, give us some more ring action. I mean, it's called TNA, it's Total Nonstop Action or Impact Wrestling. Give us a little bit more of that. That's what we like seeing. Anyway, so the first match was actually the beautiful people, Angelina Love and Velvet Sky versus Madison Rayne and Brittany in a tag team elimination evening gown match. The beautiful people, of course, were sporting the black gowns, and Brittany and Madison Rayne were sporting the white, as in stating good versus evil, kind of yada yada, and all that good stuff. Anyway, as the match goes underway, first of all, this match ran way too long, like longer than it probably should have. It wasn't horrible, but if it would have been a regular tag team match, I think it would have been more credible. I don't necessarily think they had to make them fight in an evening gown match, but then again, this isn't PG, so they're able to do whatever they want. Brittany is the first to get eliminated. Afterwards, we follow it by not Angelina, by Velvet Sky getting eliminated. Velvet Sky later comes out in her towel and distracts the referee, allowing Angelina Love to use the little spray can of theirs to spray Madison Rayne in the face, allowing her to gain the victory. So she won that. That was the end of that match, which was probably a good 10-15 minute long match. After that, we move on to a backstage promo with Dixie Carter and Rockstar Spud. Dixie pretty much telling Rockstar Spud to do his job tonight and make sure Bully Ray doesn't come anywhere near her. Even though this whole segment was happening at 11 a.m. in the morning, they injected it into the current show. Don't really know why they did that, but hey, that's their way of adding more story. Um, After that, Magnus has a backstage promo with Bram. Bram actually just signed a TNA multi-year contract, so we're going to be seeing him around. He kind of looks like the love child of Gunner and James Storm, if that's even possible. But that's who he is, and they're apparently childhood friends. He confronted him in the locker room, telling him that he had a match tonight for him, and that he was going to make him fight Willow the Wisp, aka the alter ego of Jeff Hardy, as they keep referring him. And after that, we cut to a commercial break. Show starts up again. We have our second match of the night, which was actually EC3 versus Kurt Angle. Now, this was a highly anticipated match, given the nature of the people that were fighting. Kurt Angle, going into this match with a bad knee, was experiencing knee problems during the match, which was letting EC3 gain the upper hand. After the trifecta of German suplexes, Kurt Angle's knee gives out on him, allowing EC3 to pick up the cheap victory. Apparently, they felt that the only way to put EC3 over was to not let him win clean against Kurt. Kurt goes to the back. Referees are helping him out. He's saying that his knee popped and he can feel it. That segment is pretty much done. So Kurt Angle loses that match. EC3 wins via a cheap knee chop and then pins Angle. After that, we have yet another promo. This time, Bobby Roode confronts MVP. Sorry about that. I got stuck for a second. Bobby Roode confronts MVP and talks about the fact that he screwed him over and that he wants to face Eric Young again. MVP then telling him that opportunities for the world title are far few in between, and he already had his chance and he lost. So after that was said and done, they had a little scuffle in the ring, and they got separated. Security, along with Al Snow, ended up throwing Bobby Roode out of the arena, telling him that if he came back, he'd be in trouble. So that segment is done. We cut to a commercial break. Then when we came back, we had another segment with Bully Ray scaring the secretary named Catherine, which is actually pretty funny because he says, "Hello, Catherine," and Catherine goes, "Wait, how do you know my name?" Catherine was actually rocking a Bully Fears Dixie shirt. I guess that's Dixie Carter's new shirt. They were advertising that a lot this night, because they want us to buy it. So Bully Ray pretty much told her that he wanted to set up a meeting with the rest of the staff. Rockstar Spud makes an attempt to stop Bully Ray, but to no avail. Bully Ray actually ends up just picking up Rockstar Spud and walking with him, further cementing the fact that Rockstar Spud is a joke and is no actual threat. So after that's done, we cut to our third match, which was actually the Wolves versus the Bromance in a ladder match for the World Heavyweight or just World Tag Team Championships. Sorry about that. However you want to call it. It was a little bit of back and forth action. The match left a lot to be desired, considering that it was the Wolves involved, and I expected to see more high spots. I mean, we had a couple, but it wasn't anything special, in my opinion. By no means a bad match, but it wasn't as good as it could have been. On paper, it looked amazing. The Wolves gained the victory after throwing DJ Zima Ion from the top of the ladder on top of the Bromance, which was actually kind of neat. That was like probably the best high spot in that whole match. They retained their tag team titles. Moving on. After that, forgive me if I pronounced this incorrectly. The Menagerie, whatever they're called, which consists of Knux, Crazy Steve, Rebel, and The Freak. The Freak is actually just Rob Terry in a mask. I guess he's debuting as a new character. I couldn't quite figure out who Crazy Steve was yet. And Rebel appears to be the girlfriend and manager of Knux. They debuted against Frankie Kazarian, which was interesting because he hasn't been out in a while. Christopher Daniels, of course, nowhere to be found. I'm guessing he was released from Impact Wrestling. They actually had a pretty good match. It wasn't bad. Frankie Kazarian appeared to be a babyface in this match, and the Menagerie are apparently the new heel faction in TNA, replacing the Aces and Eights. They're sort of a carnival heel faction, so there was a lot of theatrics and carnival trickery going on in the match. After some interference, Knux gained the victory over Kazarian. Moving on. We cut to a segment where Bully Ray has a staff meeting, and when he gets in the room, they're all wearing Bully Fears Dixie shirts. And they were sounding like they were brainwashed, because when Bully asked them what their business model was, they all repeated like in unison at the same time that Bully Fears Dixie. Bully tells Spud to get them some beers. We moved on from that. So we had another backstage segment with, this is kind of a throwaway. It was just Gunner and Ken Anderson talking about Samuel Shaw and how he's nuts. And then that was it. That was kind of a waste of a promo. After that, we have, just give me 1 second here. Okay. We come back to Bully Ray holding the staff meeting, and this time everybody's drunk and they all have new Bully Ray shirts on. So I guess that was their way of advertising both the shirts in the same night. Spud doesn't want to give up the location of Dixie Carter, so Bully Ray proceeds with power bombing him through the table. After that, we had our main event, which was Willow the Wisp, aka the alter ego of Jeff Hardy, and Magnus, accompanied by Bram. This was actually a pretty good match. It wasn't that long, but there was a lot of action, and the crowd was really hot for it. Anyway, to make a long story short, Bram interferes in the match, allowing Willow to gain the victory via disqualification. Bram then makes a statement by handcuffing Willow to the ring and starts beating him with a foreign object. Magnus looked perplexed at what was going on. I guess this is sort of their way of trying to make Magnus a babyface again. That's what it looks. That looks like the direction they're trying to go in. Um, that segment finishes. Then we have our final segment of the show, which was MVP and Eric Young. So MVP told Eric that he'd keep his promise and tell him who his mystery opponent was. So he wanted him to come down to the ring. Eric comes down to the ring. MVP reveals who the mystery opponent is going to be, but no one comes out. Eric Young then turns around. MVP sucker punches him, revealing that MVP himself is actually going to be the mystery opponent that Eric Young has never faced at Slammiversary for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Anyway, that's pretty much the show. If you guys like this review, please feel free to like, share, fave this video, and comment. I am the Wizard 411. That is my Twitter handle. You can also follow my Instagram. Feel free to email me as well at thewizard411@gmail.com. I'll answer all your questions, your concerns, whatever the case might be. So don't forget to subscribe. And as always, if you guys weren't sure before, now you are. Thanks for watching.